Welcome to the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity Grantee Training. In this presentation, we will be discussing how to prepare for a grant. If you are thinking of applying for a DCEO grant, we will walk you through the recommended steps to prepare for your grant application and outline what to expect as a grantee with DCEO. It's important that organizations interested in grants have a clear understanding of what the pre- and post-award process looks like. If you're interested in applying for and receiving grant funds with the state of Illinois, we look forward to working with you and welcome you to the community of grantees at DCEO. The overarching focus of this presentation is preparation. Preparation will help in creating a successful grant application, as well as ensure efficient grant management and processing. Before you apply for a grant with DCEO, we recommend a self-assessment. Important questions to ask yourself are: do you already have a program or project in mind? Can your project idea be adapted to fit the parameters of a potential grant? Is there a particular aspect of a bigger project that could benefit from grant funding? Do you have the staff and resources that can supplement the potential grant funds to complete the project? Some grants are intended to cover an entire project, some are meant to only supplement funds that a grantee has already allocated to the specific project. Do you have the administrative staff and infrastructure to manage the grant reporting? It is important to have a system for records maintenance and accounting in place at your organization before applying for a state grant. You may be wondering where to look for grant opportunities. The Catalog of State Financial Assistance, or CSFA, contains a listing of active grant programs and current funding opportunities. This can be found at gata.illinois.gov/grants/csfa.html or the DCEO website. Please note, the CSFA will house statewide opportunities across all Illinois state agencies, while those featured on the DCEO website contains active opportunities available only through DCEO. The Catalog of State Financial Assistance is searchable. You may enter specific terms, or the CSFA number if you know it. It is also important to note that you are able to subscribe for email updates on upcoming grant opportunities. If you don't see a grant that aligns with your idea now, signing up for the email update will ensure that you are made aware of potential grant opportunities as they are announced. All discretionary, or competitive, and some non-discretionary, or non-competitive, grant programs are announced through a Notice of Funding Opportunity, or NOFO. The NOFOs announce open opportunities for grant funding and will provide all the information that you need to apply for the grant, including a DCEO contact if you have any questions. Please watch our presentation on NOFOs on the DCEO Grantee Resources page under Videos and Training Resources for additional information. All organizations seeking grants must be registered in the GATA portal. GATA stands for Grant Accountability and Transparency Act, which is legislation enacted to increase accountability and transparency in the use of grant funds while reducing the administrative burden on both state agencies and grantees through adoption of the federal grant guidance and regulations codified at 2 CFR Part 200. The GATA portal is a centralized grant management system used by grantees, grantors, and administrative staff to monitor grant status and reporting. When preparing for a grant with the state of Illinois, please be sure that your organization is registered with SAM.gov. SAM stands for System of Awards Management. SAM.gov generates a UEI, or Unique Entity Identifier number, which is required to register with the GATA Grantee portal. Before registering, confirm that your entity does not already have a GATA profile established. The GATA New User Guide provides step-by-step instructions on how to set up your new account. Use your cell phone camera to scan the QR code to the right to view the GATA New User Guide, or enter the bit.ly link below into your web browser. The GATA portal can also be used to check on and track your organization's pre-qualification status. In addition to a UEI, grantees must also obtain a Federal Employer Identification Number, or FEIN, as well as registration with the Illinois Secretary of State, or SOS, if required. Grantees must ensure these items are ready before looking for grants. Your GATA profile will show if your organization is in pre-qualification status. Your organization must obtain pre-qualified status and remain in compliance to apply for a grant. Pre-qualification provides DCEO with proof that an organization has met the necessary requirements. Once pre-qualification is established, it must be maintained throughout the grant lifecycle. Please watch our presentation on pre-qualification to learn more. DCEO recommends that potential grantees read the Uniform Grant Agreement Template, or UGA. This document will demonstrate what your potential grant agreement will look like, and what requirements will be set in place. Please read all the requirements carefully, including the requirements that pertain to reporting and audits. These aspects of state funding are very important to the grant process, and your organization will need to determine if you have the capacity to comply with these requirements. The grant agreement template can be found on the DCEO Grantee resource site as well as our grant agreement overview presentation under videos and training resources. Scan the QR code on your screen or enter the bit.ly link into your web browser to learn more. Once you receive notice of your grant award, you will be assigned a grant manager. This person will be your point of contact here at DCEO. The grant manager will be there to manage grant documents, outcome reporting, and answer questions that you may have along the way. Once an organization has received a grant award from the state of Illinois, grantees must maintain their pre-qualified status by renewing registrations annually, submitting reports on time, and other requirements. Grantees are required to complete an audit report for every year in which they have an active grant. It is the grantee's responsibility to hire their auditing firm and pay for the audit. Grantees are required to complete an Internal Control Questionnaire, or ICQ, which is a risk assessment of fiscal and administrative controls. This is to be completed once a year by the grantee in the GATA Grantee portal and becomes available annually in the summer. Additionally, all grantees, unless specified, are to complete regular periodic reporting on their performance and finances. The frequency of this reporting will be determined by the grant manager. As you are preparing for a grant, please keep in mind that DCEO grants are typically distributed by reimbursement. Some grants have the option to disburse up to 2 months' worth of a working capital advance at the time of grant agreement execution. This advance could work as a way to jump-start your grant expense activities if initial capital is not available. When thinking about your project budget, we recommend that you become familiar with the procurement standards that all grantees will need to follow when using state funds. A summary of these standards can be found on the DCEO Grantee resource site. You can also watch our presentation on procurement for additional information by scanning the QR code on your screen or by entering the bit.ly link below into your web browser. You can learn more about preparing for a grant, as well as other grant-related topics, by visiting the GAT2 resource page at gata.illinois.gov/resources. GAT2 stands for Grant Accountability and Transparency Unit, which is part of the Governor's Office of Management and Budget, also known as GOMB. You may also visit the Grantee resource page by scanning the QR code with your mobile device or enter the bit.ly URL into your web browser. Thank you for watching this presentation on preparing for a grant. If you have any questions, please reach out to ceo.granthelp@illinois.gov.